Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about microphones. Now I'm sure you know there are two different types of microphone. There are condenser microphones and dynamic microphones. Today we're just going to be focusing on the condenser mics, but I am going to do a video later in the week for dynamic mics, so make sure you check that out. I'm going to keep it really short and simple so you know exactly what the differences are and you can make really informed decisions about what mics you're going to buy and use for different applications. So first things first, what do condenser microphones sound like? Well, condensers tend to be more sensitive than dynamic microphones. That means that they're going to pick up more detail. They tend to respond to high frequency sounds better and with more accuracy, and that's because of how they're designed and how they work, but we'll get into that. I'd say pros of condenser mics are their accuracy, their detail, their high output, and their sensitivity more than anything. And their downsides being that they won't work for louder sources very often because they can only take a certain amount of signal, and also they're more delicate, they're more sensitive to temperature changes, humidity, being knocked about. They're pretty delicate compared to the dynamic mics. And that's why you tend to see dynamic mics in live situations, whereas condensers tend to stay in the studio. So how does a condenser work? I'm going to move over here so you can see on this side the diagram. Essentially we have a piece of foil, very very thin and usually coated in gold to make it really conductive, suspended in front of a back plate. Both of these have electricity running through them, and as the sound waves hit the foil and move it, we get disturbances in the electrical current between the two pieces of metal, and that's what is converted into the sound that you hear in your DAW. I don't want to get too physics on that because I didn't do too well at physics A level, but essentially that's how it's working. And that's why we have so much accuracy here, because the foil is so thin and it reacts to such small differences in volume and pitch that we are able to translate that into electricity so much easier than the equivalent dynamic microphone, which we'll go into in the other lesson. So now you can probably see why they're very very delicate, because this tiny sheet of foil, if that gets damaged or perforated in any way, then the microphone won't work as intended. So how can you tell the difference between a dynamic mic and a condenser mic at a glance? This isn't a hard fast rule, but here's some things that I would look out for. The main thing to look out for here is a plate inside of the microphone. As you can see on this mic, we have this like gold plate inside, actually on both sides, but it's easier to see on the black side here. So once you've seen that it's got a plate, then we know for sure that it's a condenser mic and you need to be running 48 volts phantom power through it. This is a button on your interface usually, and that means that we're going to be running the current over that piece of foil to capture the sound. Dynamic mics work differently and they don't need phantom power. Other giveaways that it might be a condenser microphone, or if it has any lights on it, then it would imply that it needs powering, and if it needs powering, then it tends to be a condenser microphone. Other than that, it's quite hard to tell. Some dynamic mics look like condensers, some condenser mics look like dynamics, and nowadays companies like Aston are making microphones that are dynamic microphones that can also be condenser mics, which is really cool, but a little bit confusing if you're watching lessons like this. So just try and look out for that capsule, and that's how you can tell the difference usually. So how would I go about using a condenser mic? Basically, I'll use condensers on most bright things and most things that I want to capture a lot of detail with, so that being vocals, acoustic guitars, if I want to record amplifiers of electric guitars, if I want to record a piano, I'm going to be using condensers generally because they're going to give me the most accurate, open and detailed sound. Sometimes dynamic mics can also work fantastically well. I've done a whole video on the SM7B, which is a very famous dynamic microphone. You can check that out if you click up here. And that doesn't need any power and it still sounds excellent. But condensers are usually the mics that I would use for vocals and acoustic guitar, just because of the detail really. Things to bear in mind when you're using a condenser mic: try not to put too much volume through them, so don't use them on a snare drum if you don't know that they will be able to handle it. Also, if you need an external power supply for your microphone, don't run phantom power through it because it's being powered by another power supply. That's probably not going to apply to most people, but if you do have a more expensive microphone that has an external power supply, please don't be running phantom power through it without checking with the manufacturer first. Just a few other things: try not to expose your microphone to shock or to heat or to humidity or, you know, extreme variances in temperature, because that can damage the really delicate foil capsule. So you want to keep these static when possible, in a nice case if you've got it, and not being banged around too much. And that's it. That's everything there is to know on condenser microphones, really. If you want to do some extra reading, Neumann have got a great article on their website about it, and there's plenty of articles about the real physics of how the electricity aspect of this works. For now, you know pretty much all you need to know. You need phantom power, they capture a lot of detail, and they're pretty delicate. I hope that's been really interesting. If you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe button, drop us a like, let me know in the comments if there's any videos you do want to see, because I'll make sure I do a whole video on any of your suggestions, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!